Final Four is set, and if you are one of the 0.0088% of the ESPN bracket challenge that picked that, yeah, that's how little people in the world had Syracuse. Syracuse, man.
I had them going a couple of rounds through, but I didn't have them going to the Final Four.
Final Four, man. Syracuse, University of North Carolina, Villanova, and Buddy Hield's Oklahoma Sooners have made it. That is what is left of the NCAA tournament, and that's what makes it such a beautiful thing. Now, granted, Syracuse historically is up there with UNC in terms of making Final Four appearances, same as Kentucky and Kansas and all these historic programs. But Syracuse, the 10 seed, is the ugliest Cinderella the tournament's ever seen because, A, they shouldn't have been there in the first place, but because they are there, they have very much proven, well, maybe we should be. Yeah. Okay? The worst ranked RPI in the history of the tournament, they get in, very controversial, but I guess not nearly as controversial as after the comeback, Kevin Harlan, the broadcaster, makes this call during the end of the game. Sent waves through the Twitter sphere, as in a lot of people were like, if I were Kevin Harlan, I'd be getting my apology ready. Just my opinion. Apologize for what?
We're in such a sensitive time. And it's so sensitive because of everything that goes on, which revolves around religion. Not everyone will get the sentiment that he's alluding to. And not everyone will relate to it because not everyone is Christian or Catholic, whatever else. But, I mean, I don't take offense to it. I'm sure you don't take offense to it. But somehow people will take offense to it. And they'll be like, there's no place for religious terms or anything in sports. I really don't know. I mean,
not to harp on this too much, my only point to that is if that's the way that we're going to live life, then someone's going to get offended by something everywhere, every day, any time of the day.
I mean, I was watching...
Look, it's factual, at least when it comes to biblical study. If Jesus rose from the dead, Syracuse rose from the dead.
I was watching The Walking Dead last night, and I watched The Talking Dead after it, and Chris Hardwick or something, is that his name?
Yep, Nerdist.
Yeah, he said something like, "Oh, and happy Easter, by the way, for those maybe a certain character will rise from the dead," or something along that line.
Right? Oh no, let's all throw it on Chris Hardwick. Take away at Nerdist. Take away the whole Nerd Melt showroom because Chris Hardwick made an Easter reference.
Yeah, I thought
it might have been inappropriate, but at least in the context of what happened during that game,
yeah,
they were fucking dead. They were dead and buried.
Dead in the water.
25-4 run they ripped off in about a 4.5-minute stretch for Syracuse. So they're there, and that's what we have to deal with. And here's the funny thing is, I said when it came to the Elite Eight, at least when I was talking to friends, they're going to play Virginia. Oh, man, Virginia gets to walk into the Final Four because they get to trounce a team like Syracuse. Wasn't taken into account that Tony Bennett got so badly outcoached by Jim Boeheim in that second half, and I mean badly. As much as it was a great Syracuse comeback, I consider that collapse worse than Texas A&M. I know, so many points in such little time. They had 10 minutes to freaking close that game out. Yeah. If you got 1.5 points for every 4 that Syracuse was scoring, you still would have won the game. So Tony Bennett gets outcoached. Great name, though, by the way.
Tony Bennett, great singer.
UVA coach. And Jim Boeheim gets there. But as for the other games that happened, as for the other reaction, I guess we'll stick with Syracuse for this second. I think it's number 9 and number 10 we have for the memes, including Carmelo Anthony. So number 9, Francis DJ Khaled as the orange. Another one. And number 10 was 538. If you were one of the people who choose Syracuse on March 15th, they had less than 1% chance to win the championship, a 1% chance to get to the Final Four. They now have a 14% chance to win the tournament, at least according to 538. And Syracuse alum Carmelo Anthony was quite excited about the win.
They don't want us to win. They don't want us to win. Juice Nation is in full effect. It's called perseverance. Everybody counted us out in the first half. We persevered. Eat, young boys, eat.
Eat, Francis.
So
eat.
I'm interested, is there any references to those that have potentially put on bets similar to Leicester, like
yes.
Leicester City? Is there some that they get the cash out option?
No, they don't get the cash out option, but Westgate Sportsbook in Las Vegas took a bet, I think on January 15th it was, $1,000 on Syracuse to win the national title at 1,000 to 1. 1,000 to 1.
That guy.
That's at a time when all the sports books were like, this team's not getting into the tournament. Thank you for the free $1,000. Thank you. Have a good day. All right, so we continue for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the booth. We're going to go back to number 1, which is one of my favorites. If you guys have been following the Batman vs. Superman thing.
This is amazing.
There's a really funny thing about Ben Affleck responding to it. So Oregon goes down. Ben Affleck's wearing the Oregon shirt. Number 2 is also very interesting because the Big East imploded, started over from scratch, and still got back to the Final Four before the Pac-12. Pac-12 has had a bad showing in the NCAA Tournament. But they play well in college football. We get to the Buddy Hield memes, which we have 2. Or at least tweets. Buddy Hield is the first player with at least 30 points versus a 1 seed in an Elite 8 or later since Carmelo Anthony did it for Cuse in 03 versus Texas. That was a great game. We continue with Francis, one of your favorite movies. Will you read that one?
Buddy lighting up Oregon like.
Buddy the Elf. When he's hitting all the...
I love Buddy the Elf.
All right, we have a couple more before we talk a little bit more about the Final Four. All right, Francis, always repping. I think it's always crying.
No doubt.
Yeah.
How many MJ memes have circulated?
I always have a few, Francis. So
your back pocket.
If you remember, Virginia and Thomas Jefferson go closely together. So people started doing the MJ-TJ memes. We continue with the next one. I like this one even more, though, the Mount Rushmore of...
I'm waiting for it.
Which is fantastic. And then lastly, it's not just MJ anymore, Francis.
Oh, I forgot.
Sad Bill Murray.
Bill Murray is sad.
I like the guy at number 1 because it's like a jacked Bill Murray.
Yeah, he's
all right.
depressed.
Francis, you watch the games.
So,
who do you like so far? What do you take away?
I mean, I'm not going to count out Oklahoma because Buddy Hield is going off. I mean, Jason Rubin, all credit to him, did predict that this would be a tournament in which he would further establish himself. And some people are already saying that he should be the number 1 draft pick. But again, I know you're going to argue different because he's in good company of Ben Simmons and Brandon Ingram.
Yep.
But and then there's other sources that are saying, is he the next Steph Curry?
Yeah.
Let's relax. Let's just take a breath, okay? Because it's not, you're not comparing. Like, I understand the Brandon Ingram. We posted Brandon Ingram, Kevin Durant 2.0 because it's their movements. It's
I know.
Their movements. They're very similar. They're almost an exact replica frame-wise, like very gangly. So
amazing. That
is a comparison you can make. But when you're making a comparison from Buddy Hield to Steph Curry, is he shooting 40 yards back like that's going in? I mean, is he?
Well, I love the comparison because their games are actually nothing alike. It's not even close.
I don't understand.
From their release to their shot to their step back to off, everything about it. But I'm going to get to Buddy Hield. We're going to do a whole separate clip on Buddy Hield, which is going to go up tomorrow. We're shooting this Monday, which people will really enjoy. Okay, so a couple other things to watch. UNC's Brice Johnson is a tremendously talented forward. And he's such a UNC breed of player. I was kind of comparing him wrongly to what I remember about Harrison Barnes when he played at UNC. Granted, Harrison Barnes was it was stretching him out to be a 3, even though he played it in college. And he was way more athletic. But again, there's just certain semblances of how they run that offense that I see like Brice Johnson and Harrison Barnes played in a similar role, although Johnson's a little bit bigger. He's got some nice big man moves for a guy who's actually not that big.
Yeah.
And Marcus Page, where's Marcus Page? Everyone's, is this Marcus Page's time? Marcus Page has been goddamn absent from the whole freaking tournament.
Is that Ben Mankiewicz?
It's Brice Johnson's fucking tournament, and I'm sick of the people here still trying to back Marcus Page. I get it. He's been there for 16 years. He deserves some credit as a what do you get? The varsity letter. He's got the varsity alphabet, Francis. Okay. It's Brice's tournament. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I was going to say not just the Syracuse comeback. I'm missing one team. Villanova. Man, that's a physical team.
Yeah.
And they're playing well. Jay Wright is such a good freaking coach. I love how he draws his inbound plays, especially at the end of games. Josh Hart's been playing well. I love this video real quick. We'll add also in post, and that's Kyle Lowry, Toronto Raptors All-Star guard, who's playing the NBA, played for Villanova. Yeah. During his post-game press conference after the Raptors game.
We talked that 50 wins was significant. Now to tie last year's record. How does that feel to get it right now?
We tied it?
Yeah.
That's
49.
cool, man. That's really cool. I think it's just something that we just kind of keep getting better. And, the last couple of years we've continued to grow and get better. Yeah, Daniel, to keep getting better and growing every single game. Sorry, really not really into this right now. So go ahead, yeah.
Kyle, we talked about it before. This is a good way for you, DeMar, to get rest. Get out to a big league. You get to play a little, get your rhythm, keep your rhythm, but then you can rest partway through the fourth quarter?
It was a great game for us. You know, we continue to get better. That's a charge. We continue to get better every single game and throughout the game. And, you know, we end up, you know, playing a team that was, you know, they're depleted, but they play extremely hard. They're well coached. But, you know, we found a way to get some rest tonight. And I think I played 28 minutes. DeMar played like 30. So it was a good win for us.
Who have you got? Not that it matters anymore because both of our brackets are down in the dumps, but who have you got anyway going?
I still got Wisconsin winning the whole championship. At this point, I think Villanova. And that's a coaching thing. Look, it would be fun to jump on the Cuse bandwagon. At this point, I love Buddy Hield. Dan's got Oklahoma to win it all, but I'm going to go with Villanova. I'm probably going to be wrong. But Francis, the bracket challenge, we have some results. And basically, there is still 4-ish people who can grab the TYT swag bag as their prize. My gut technically leads everybody, 870 total points. Except his problem is he's got Kansas versus Michigan State in the final. Therefore, you ain't going anywhere. Bert Hidalgo,
Yeah, Big Bert.
TYT Sports Editor, 860 points, could steal it from all of you, except we would give it to second place because Bert already has a lot of TYT swag. He's got the Tar Heels winning the championship. Grayson Allen for president. I'm going to deduct 100 points from his score for having such a terrible bracket name. 850 points if Oklahoma wins. He's in good shape, or she's in good shape, she. They will win. Thomas Oppelizer, who tweets at us all the time. Thank you for tweeting at us all the time, man. He has 800 points, and if Villanova wins, that's his champion, he will win the bracket challenge.
Oh, my God.
The only issue is he tweeted at us saying, I don't know what a Villanova is, but that's my pick about 2 weeks ago.
Where is he from? Is he from the UK? Probably is.
I have no idea.
Just it picked a fancy word because that sounded good.
Lastly, Cade TYT with 780 points, even though almost 90 points back from my gut, has UNC winning the tournament, and therefore if UNC wins, they will win. If Cuse wins, you know, somebody who's got about 700 points or 650 points, if Cuse actually wins and they have Cuse winning the championship, they might be able to hop everybody because I think
I want to know who took them though. Like,
you get
who
a
is
lot
this
of
Mystic
points.
Mac?
You get a lot of points.
Who would have took Syracuse?
Love oranges. You a fan of oranges?
I love oranges, but I still wouldn't have picked them.
Oranges, tangerines.
Margaritas.
What the hell? You're restricting the alcohol. Comment below with who you think is going to win the NCAA tournament. Make sure to stick around for more awesome clips today, too. We'll see you then.